If we could just let Lembit respond to that.
The big picture here is it's got a bit warmer since 1850, which is the end of the Little Ice Age. That's not really in dispute. But it's not even as warm now as, I'm sure you'd agree, you're a learned person, not even as warm now as it was in the medieval warm period or in the Roman warm period. So whatever we've got now is actually cooler than what's been recorded in human history and in the UK. You know that it was warmer in Britain when the Romans were here, or are you going to deny that?
No, I'm going to deny that. I just say that we are a little bit warmer than we were in the medieval warm period. The data it shows that. It does. It was warm then, but when you look at that, it was in the Northern European area. If you look at the world as a whole, the average temperature of the planet wasn't warmer, but it was warmer over Europe. So you have to look at this as a global. You said the big picture, and the big picture is that it wasn't that much warmer. It was a great deal cooler in other parts of the world at that time.
Okay, let's say you're right. You don't deny that there are oscillations, warmer and cooler periods, medieval warm period, maybe a bit warmer, which I think it was, maybe a bit cooler, the Roman warm period, which clearly was warmer than it is now. You don't deny that, surely, and these are ripples.
No, in Europe, that's what I was saying. In other parts of the world, it was cooler, so the average temperature was about the same. You can't just pick, you can't just cherry pick. When you look at this data, you have to look at the world, and the world is warming.
What you're saying is that it was a regional effect rather than a global effect. And we could spend the whole evening talking about that. But then let's look at the big picture here. What caused the Ice Age? What caused clearly much warmer periods on planet Earth before human beings were here making CO2? And how on earth can the tiny contribution that humans are making to CO2, which at most is maybe 3.5% of the increase, be responsible for this change? Explain.
John, just before you respond to that, can I just say, as the non-scientist here, listening to you both talk, it seems clear to me that this is still a very active debate, as it should be. So, John, in that context, ought it not be the case that the so-called settled science it should no longer be accepted as settled, and for the good of us all, as would seem to be indicated by the enthusiasm of both of your contributions to this debate, we should reopen the debate and consider both sides?
No, this is you put two people side by side and you assume that the argument is even. In 2020, Cornell did an analysis of the database on climate change, and they found that 99.9% of all the research said that the global warming, the current warming, was caused by, doesn't matter if you laugh or not, it's still true, that was caused by human activity. This is certain now. It doesn't matter that it's 3%. 3% is quite a big percentage when you're looking at CO2 over 200 years. You know, it is a constant pressure, and that constant pressure is changing our global climate.
Right.
Lembit, you laugh there.
Yeah,
why?
Because it's rubbish. What you're being told here is rubbish. There was this claim which Al Gore, the failed presidential candidate,
I'm not talking about Al Gore.
Saying,
Look at the Cornell
there was
research.
This claim that 97% of scientists agree with it. It's a joke piece of research. Let's not play around here. We haven't got time to explain to the viewers, but if you're honest about it, at most was 8% because of the ridiculous way in which they manipulated the figures. But the second point here is, now, John, you're an academic. You're not telling me that consensus is science. My father was a nuclear physicist. My grandfather was an astronomer. They'd be spinning in their graves if anyone seriously was claiming that we're replacing science with consensus. And then here's the third one. Answer to question to Neil's question. The science is settled, in my view. It's obvious that human beings aren't wrecking the climate. But I'm willing to take my chances, like for like, on any platform, anywhere in this country. I'll share my data, you share yours. And if you're right, I'll change my view. How about that?